Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is Shahbaz Khan and now back again with yet another lesson of English. So my new series of grammar has already begun, and today is the time to proceed to its second lecture officially. So to start the time with the name of Almighty Allah, who is the most beneficent and the most merciful. So here we go, without further ado. So this is grammar series and in it we are in for second lecture, and the topic for today is sentences. Now, like everybody is already aware of what sentences really are and how it is made, then what is so new in here to learn? So today I have some unique terminologies for the topic sentences, and let us get started with it without further ado. So let's find out. So the question once again arises out of the fact, what is a sentence? Now, sentence can simply be defined in multiple other ways, but I have two different terminologies, and to start with the first one. It's a word-based unit. It's a written unit, a unit that we create all by ourselves, by the combination or by using the good set of words. So it's a word-based unit on one hand, which is definitely created by joining together great amount of words which are grammatically concomitant. Now the word may be new to you, the word concomitant. Here the word concomitant actually means being connected, being linked, being related to one another. So that's a vocabulary for you in disguise. So it's a word-based unit that must be grammatically concomitant or connected or related. For example, let us get down to the concept of it. So it means to have a set of words which are meaningfully arranged. Obviously, when we have the section meaningfully arranged, what do I mean by this here? It means the correct placements of word classes. Now in that previous lecture we talked about word classes, and it is the time for us to actually use those word classes in a single sentence. So when we place them correctly in a correct order, then they become meaningful, and once they are meaningful, they create a good sentence. So a sentence is based on a set of words that are meaningfully arranged. Let us check an example here. For instance, there is a sentence, and one of the different sentences I have chosen here, and that has to be a tongue twister. It is a tongue twister. It goes as, Betty bought a bit of butter, but she found the butter bitter. Now you use it on the faster track, on a faster way, then you come across having its twist and turns too difficult, with too much difficulty, and etc. So I'm not talking about the tongue twister here, but let us talk about the bunch of words that we have gotten here. So that's the word-based unit here, as you can see, a meaningful sentence. And let's break them down into different word classes. The first word, Betty, here is a noun. So there is a noun. The word bought is an action. Betty did the buying. So it is the past form of the present form buy. So that is verb. We all know. So there is noun, there is verb. Then comes a determiner, a, and then that determiner may be a bit too less acknowledging for the ones who may not have come across knowing this word, but that determiner, in other words, is actually and commonly called article. And actually both determiner and article sometimes join together, and they are actually termed as adjectives. So basically these type of determiners are always adjectives, but we come across knowing them like articles or determiners. So we'll talk about that later, but that's an adjective, or you call it an article. Then we have bit. Bit is another noun, a type of a noun that is measuring or the quantity, which can't simply be counted really, but a quantity like. So it's a noun, is the second noun of a sentence. Then we have of as a preposition. Then we have butter as another noun. Then we have but as a conjunction. Then we have she as a replacement of Betty, and that is actually called pronoun. We have already heard, in place of a noun, whatever is used becomes pronoun. And then we have found as once again the past form of find, that is verb. Then we have the again, and this time it is a replacement of a, and that the once again is a determiner. An article or an adjective can be referred again as. Butter once again is a noun. Bitter is a describing a word, and it describes a noun. It describes butter really, and that is adjective. So as you can see, the word-based unit uh, we have in a sentence can only become meaningful when we find the correct placements of word classes. So there are so many word classes here, but they can't be simply thrown into a sentence meaninglessly. So we need to arrange them so meaningfully so that they give us a different and a good meaning. Let us talk about its second concept. So once it is on one hand it is a word based unit, and on the other it's a punctuational unit. Without knowing the rules of punctuations, we can't simply be a good writer. So here's the thing, within a sentence we need to find its punctuational unit. So the concept is, it is such graphological it carries such graphological features which are only organized when we have correct punctuating marks. Graphological features here means the ways, the methods of actually drafting. So let's talk about it. For instance, we have the same sentence. Now I've highlighted a few things, say a few as you can see here, and let's highlight them. So what is now important for a sentence, apart from the usage of correct word classes and their correct placements? Let us talk about the punctuational section. The capitalization in the beginning, and the capitalization in a sentence. Sometimes in the beginning we are by default aware of making things capitalized all by ourselves, but when it comes to the usage in between, we need to be aware of that. So you must wait for another lecture of punctuation in detail, where we find the multiple ways of capitalizing things and capitalizing letters. So capitalization is one thing. And then we have comma. Actually, comma is a certain replacement of multiple conjunctions, as is in this case, in this sentence, is a certain replacement of a certain conjunction. So that is a comma that we are aware of, and we must know the usage of it, and we'll have multiple other lectures to come where we determine where to use commas. So that's the second thing. And that is the minuscule. That is, minuscule is an opposite of majuscule, and minuscule means small letters. In case if that Spanish word disturbs you, then it means a small letter. It's exactly the reverse of capitalization. So we are aware of where to use small letters, and by default we use small letters. But since right after the usage of comma we come to the small letters, this is one thing that we need to understand here. So multiple other ways to learn the usage of small letters, but not here really. We can simply see that here. And then last but not the least, if that is in a statement, as you can see, it must contain a full stop right at the end. So this is how we actually have a sentence divided into two different sections. So a sentence should be a word based unit when we have correct placements of word classes, but not just these are the word classes which are only required, but at the same time we need to be aware of the correct usage of punctuational unit. So it's a word based unit on one hand and a punctuation unit on the other. I think this clarifies you right now, and wait for my third lecture to come, where we are going to talk about the types of sentence in my third grammar series, lecture third. So until next time, it is goodbye.